In Italy, Bologna imam expelled for voicing support for Hamas. In India, government bans Lebanon-based terror outfit Hizb ut-Tahrir. 5 Arab Israelis indicted over plot to car bomb Tel Aviv skyscraper.
Taiwan's president vows to resist annexation by China in National Day speech. Former Taiwan leader Tsai to visit Czech Republic, other European destinations, drawing China's ire. Chechnya's Kadyrov threatens blood feud, accuses Russian MPs of plotting his murder, state media reports. White House says Sinwar remains Hamas decision-maker, alive in Gaza.
In Canada, Victims of Communism Memorial faces called to remove over 330 names linked to Nazis, fascists. FBI announces the repatriation of a Nazi-looted Monet, missing for more than 80 years, to the heirs of original owners. In the U.S., TD Bank pleads guilty to Bank Secrecy Act and money laundering conspiracy violations in $1.8 billion resolution, as 92% of total transaction volume going unmonitored in certain years.
Russia is on a sustained mission to create mayhem on Europe's streets, UK spy chief says. FBI arrests Afghan man who officials say planned election day attack in the U.S. Israel has not briefed U.S. military officials on its plans for retaliation against Iran, U.S. officials say, and U.S. to give Israel compensation if it hits acceptable targets in Iran, claimed in a report.
Putin's merchant of death is back in the arms business. This time selling to the Houthis, as Viktor Bout is trying to sell weapons to the Houthis, Western officials say. UN members reject Saudi bid to join its Human Rights Council. Russia has suffered more than 600,000 casualties in Ukraine, U.S. official says. U.S. hits Houthis with precision strikes on weapon facilities in Yemen. Biden tells Netanyahu it's time to end Gaza war after Sinwar's elimination. Israel says Yahya Sinwar, Hamas top leader in Gaza, killed in major blow to militant group.
With first step to World War. North Korea preparing 10,000 soldiers to join Russia's war, Zelensky confirms. Trump says Ukraine's Zelensky should never have let that war start. U.S. sanctions force Sputnik radio off the air, as 2 U.S. radio stations end Russian-backed propaganda programming. France, Germany join U.S. space warfighting plan Olympic defender. U.S. demands Israel improve humanitarian conditions in Gaza or risk military aid.
Report claims Netanyahu says Israel will strike Iranian military targets before November 5th election. Biden warned Iran that killing Trump would be an act of war, claimed in a report. U.S. warns Iran to stop plotting against Trump, says U.S. official. In the U.S., 30% of the cameras in Border Patrol's main surveillance system are broken, memo says. Poland funds Starlink modules used by Ukrainian soldiers, not Musk, says Polish Foreign Affairs Minister Sikorski. UK considering sending troops to west of Ukraine for recruit training. Macron inspects Ukrainian troops training at a French military camp.
UNIFIL confirms Israel hit 3 bases. Israeli forces fire at UN position in Lebanon, 22 killed in Beirut strike. Italy summons Israeli ambassador after UN observers wounded in Lebanon. Israel recommends Lebanon peacekeepers move, says UN envoy.
Palestinian Islamic Jihad head killed in airstrike in West Bank. Iraqi Shiite militia threatens to attack U.S. forces if assaulted by Israel. Stop Israel from bombing Iran's oil sites, Gulf states urge U.S.
Ukraine's Zelensky outlines victory plan to allies, discusses long-range weapons. 20 days ago, Moscow says it will not participate in Second Ukraine Peace Summit. Zelensky denies ceasefire with Russia under discussion on Europe trip, and Zelensky says Ukraine won't consider exchanging territories for Western guarantees.
U.S. Department of Justice requests information from Saab North America Incorporated regarding Brazil's acquisition of Gripen fighters in 2014. China slaps sanctions on 3 U.S. firms, 10 senior execs over weapons sales to Taiwan. BRICS nations set for 4.4% growth in 2024 through 2025, outpacing G7 economies.
Unilever exits Russia with sale of all assets to local company. Reuters reports that China's Chery assembles cars in Russian plants vacated by Western rivals. Donald Trump doubles down on China carmakers being unwelcome in U.S. market.
Air India buys 85 Airbus jets, eyes more Boeings, sources say. Bloomberg reports as aircraft jet sales are rebounding after Russia plane seizures. Italy sets conditions for Como stake sale by Stellantis. Stellantis ousts CFO in effort to stabilize reeling business. South Korea unveils world's first autonomous, amphibious robotic missile launcher. Chinese laser weapon similar to British Dragonfire, reportedly spotted in Iran. Germany will send more weapons to Israel soon, Scholl says.
North Korean troops fighting for Russia in Ukraine, as announced by Seoul, and Kremlin dismisses reports of North Korean soldiers fighting in Ukraine. Africans recruited to work in Russia duped into building drones for use in Ukraine. The Financial Times comments as, "No one but Moscow gains from Polish and Ukrainian tensions." 15 days ago, it has been reported that Putin will likely control part of Ukraine when war ends, Czech president says. 1 month ago, Harris suggested that Russia could target Poland if Ukraine loses the war.
EU countries greenlight €35 billion loan for Ukraine using Russia's frozen assets. EU's von der Leyen urges Moldovans to vote, announces $2 billion in aid. Ukrainian media outlet says it's being pressured by Zelensky's office.
In Germany, economic researchers warn of further increase in bankruptcies. UK resumes Swiss trade talks and global Britain push. IMF demand on special economic zones to dissuade China investments in Pakistan, as reported by Bloomberg.
Uber, Lyft avoided millions in pay by locking NYC drivers out of apps, claimed in a report. X drops Unilever from lawsuit against advertisers, citing a new agreement. Boeing to cut 17,000 jobs and delay first 777X delivery as strike hits finances. Russia's illegal use of Starlink terminals hasten fall of Volodar. The Washington Post reports. An unknown drone fleet breached U.S. military base airspace in Virginia for 17 straight days, claimed in a report.
The Atlantic comments as, rumors on X are becoming the right's new reality. The Federalist comments as, Kamala Harris is too stupid to be president. Also comments as, a vote for Donald Trump is a vote for normalcy. Judge agrees to unseal additional filings from January 6 case, as Trump signals challenge.
In the UK, Chancellor Rachel Reeves considering raising capital gains tax as high as 39%. China steps up checks of wealth management products after $149 billion outflow. Bloomberg comments as, unions need to join the 21st century economy.
Just 2.5% of U.S. homes changed hands in 2024, the lowest rate in decades. U.S. 30 years mortgage rises to 6.32%, biggest weekly gain since April, Freddie Mac says. In Germany, economic researchers warn of further increase in bankruptcies. Bank of Korea cuts rate to 3.25% as inflation cools, ending longest rate freeze.
Expedia shares gain on report that Uber explored making a bid. The FTC makes it easier to cancel subscriptions like streaming services, memberships, and Prime. McKinsey to pay at least $500 million in DOJ opioid probe. 3 years ago it has been reported as, McKinsey never told the FDA it was working for opioid makers while also working for the agency. Apple expands tools to help businesses connect with customers, as any verified business can now create a consistent brand and location presence across apps that customers use every day, including Apple Maps, Wallet, and Mail. Winamp deletes entire GitHub source code repo after a rocky few weeks.
U.S. Labor Board accuses Apple of restricting workers' Slack social media use. U.S. blacklisted Chinese surveillance camera maker Hikvision set to be cutting jobs. Reportedly, Apple wants to launch smart glasses to salvage the billions it spent on Vision Pro.
Hezbollah drone attack kills 4 IDF soldiers as U.S. prepares to send missile system to Israel, as U.S. confirms it's sending THAAD, the missile defense battery, 100 troops to operate it, to Israel. Secret documents show Hamas tried to persuade Iran to join its October 7th attack. It has been reported as, Harris addresses to Jewish voters with all options on the table to stop Iran from going nuclear.
Nobel Prize in Economics 2024 awarded to trio for work on differences in prosperity between nations, as trio of professors win Nobel Economics Prize for work on post-colonial wealth. BlackRock's assets hit record $11.5 trillion amid private market push. China property stocks jump after Beijing proposes measures to lift troubled sector.
Apple celebrates 10 years of Apple Pay, with Klarna being available to UK and US users, and Apple Pay accessible on third-party web browsers and computers. ECB cuts interest rate again as inflation appears under control.
Chinese self-driving startup Pony AI files for US IPO. Unity releases Unity Engine 6, with open-source AI models over Sentis, automated game opponents and game outcome predictions using AI, and simpler multiplayer game creation. Voice actors in Japan create group to fight unauthorized AI use of their voices, as Yuki Kaji teams up with Code Geass and Hunter x Hunter voice actors, after AI becomes the latest threat to the anime industry.
Win for Musk's Starlink, as India says no to spectrum auction pitch from Ambani, Mittal. Elon Musk's X dodges EU's DMA, as block decides platform isn't important enough for fairness controls, as Elon Musk's X evades compliance with landmark EU antitrust regulation.
Deepfake romance scam raked in $46 million from men across Asia, police say. Brazil arrests US Dudi hacker tied to FBI, national public data breaches. 2 months ago, US Dudi hacker, behind $3 billion SSN leak, reveals himself as Brazilian citizen. In the US, 2 Sudanese nationals indicted for alleged role in anonymous Sudan cyberattacks on hospitals, government facilities, and other critical infrastructure in Los Angeles and around the world.
Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway hikes its SiriusXM stake to 32% after Liberty deal. Activist Starboard Value has $1 billion Pfizer stake, taps former executives for help, sources say. Toyota joins with Hyundai's Boston Dynamics on AI-powered robots.
In the U.S., regulator investigates Tesla's automated driving feature after fatal crash. TSMC says it will take prompt action to ensure compliance after reported U.S. probe into possible work with Huawei. Malicious ads exploited Internet Explorer 0 day to drop malware. Nebius set to resume Nasdaq trading after completing split from Russia's Yandex. 3 months ago, Yandex NV finalizes $5.4 billion deal to sell Russian businesses, and Yandex NV renamed Nebius Group after Russia split. U.S. Cellular to sell certain spectrum licenses to Verizon in $1 billion deal. Fujisoft sticks with KKR despite higher takeover offer from Bain. FT commented as KKR and Bain in all-out $4 billion fight for Japan's Fujisoft.
China just triggered more stimulus measures, even as it says its economy is showing stable growth. China's GDP growth slowed down to 4.6%. Gallup announced that majority of Americans feel worse off than 4 years ago.
In the U.S., Raytheon Company to pay over $950 million in connection with defective pricing, foreign bribery, and export control schemes. Treasury announces enhanced fraud detection processes, including machine learning AI, prevented and recovered over $4 billion in fiscal year 2024. FCC mandates universal hearing aid compatibility for all mobile phones.
X looks to steer lawsuits to Musk's favorite Tesla investor judge. New records show Texas judge on X case didn't sell his Tesla shares after taking the suit. The specialists who authenticate trading cards for eBay are rallying for a union contract. India plans laptop import curbs to boost local manufacturing, sources say.
Bitcoin recognized as divisible property in South Korean divorces. Almost half of traditional hedge funds are dabbling in crypto. Stripe reintegrates crypto payments in the USA. Trump's World Liberty Financial submits proposal to Ethereum DeFi protocol Aave. It has been speculated as Trump-linked DeFi venture could double Aave's treasury overnight with $100 million boost. The FBI secretly created a coin to investigate crypto pump and dump schemes. Apple hosts secretive conferences to teach law enforcement how to better use iPhone, CarPlay, and Vision Pro for police work. OKX launches fully licensed platform for retail and institutional investors in UAE. Ripple expands custody business to offer bank-grade service to crypto firms. Formerly Swaziland, Eswatini Central Bank unveils digital Lilangeni design paper.
Sam Bankman-Fried's bankrupt FTX crypto exchange is cleared to repay customers. Former Bitcoin developer Peter Todd denies he's Satoshi. Hours before HBO documentary airs, Crypto.com sues U.S. SEC after receiving legal threat from regulator.
Prosecutors charge for crypto market makers, employees with market manipulation and fraud. As in the U.S., 18 individuals and entities charged in international operation targeting widespread fraud and manipulation in the cryptocurrency markets. FTC takes action against Marriott and Starwood over multiple data breaches. MoneyGram says hackers stole customers' personal information and transaction data. Stripe in talks to buy crypto startup Bridge for $1 billion. Sam Altman's WorldCoin rebrands as World and launches updated iris scanning orb. FBI arrests man for SEC social media hack over fake Bitcoin ETF approval post.
Robinhood launches desktop platform, adds futures and index options trading to app. Ripple leads $25 million round in Bitnomial as the derivatives exchange launches futures trading platform in U.S. Crypto company Tether talking to commodity traders about lending them its billions. MrBeast allegedly reaped $10 million promoting and dumping altcoins. Bourse Stuttgart Digital chooses AWS for crypto infrastructure.
Crypto ETF issuer Fidelity says breach leaked data of 77K customers. Pro KYC deepfake tool exploited to bypass crypto exchange security. FBI warns of cryptocurrency scams as report finds Californians lost $1 billion.
In the U.S., SEC charges Cumberland DRW for operating as an unregistered dealer in the crypto asset markets. Dubai's VARA fines, issues cease and desist orders against 7 crypto entities. China to sell $1.3 billion of Ethereum from C's Plus token scheme.
Taiwan says 4 iPhone maker staff detained in China under strange circumstances. CDNR nears deal to buy Sanofi's consumer unit for $16 billion. Source says. UPU names Deutsche Post and Swiss Post as best in the world.
Walls says the Electoral College needs to go. Romney won't endorse Harris, saying he wants to keep his voice in the party. Wall Street Journal comments as, Biden and Harris mismanaged Hurricane Helene. Kremlin says, Trump sent Putin COVID tests while president. 1 day ago, it has been reported that Trump secretly gave Putin COVID test machines, as Bob Woodward's book says. Trump says, Gaza could be better than Monaco. Vanity Fair comments as, lying is loyalty in Trump's GOP.
Trump allies threaten Deloitte contracts after employee shares Vance chats. Reportedly, porn industry jumps into the presidential campaign, targeting Project 2025, as porn stars launch campaign against Project 2025 targeting swing states. Elon Musk's PAC is paying $47 for each solicited petition signature from a swing state voter.
Trump rejects Fox News invite to debate Harris in late October, as Fox News media proposes Trump and Harris presidential debate in Pennsylvania. Tim Walz's rally goes live on World of Warcraft Twitch stream. A former aide to New York Mayor Eric Adams is charged with destroying evidence as top deputy quits.
Boris Johnson defends Trump's claims on Ukraine and January 6 riot. Trump requests military plane, increased protection amid security threats. Trump campaign connected with Elon Musk's X, before it blocked links to hacked materials.
Michigan newspaper issues correction after Trump claims he won Man of Year award. Roger Stone suggests using armed guards during election in secret video. FCC chair denounces Trump's calls for CBS to lose its license over Harris's 60 Minutes interview.
Donald Trump says Project 2025 author coming on board if elected. Donald Trump is Putin's source at the top, says former CIA chief. The Atlantic endorses Harris, with she believes in democracy. U.S. meteorologists face death threats as hurricane conspiracies surge, and sleeper agent bots on X fuel U.S. election misinformation, study says.
Obama lashes out at crazy Trump in first U.S. election rally for Harris. CBS News says Trump campaign had shifting explanations for why he snubbed 60 Minutes. Trump insults Detroit while campaigning in the city, as Trump, pitching aid for Michigan automakers, insults Detroit.
Pedro Sanchez unveils plans to help migrants settle in Spain, and Spain's Sanchez touts benefits of migration as European neighbors tighten borders. Reportedly, Japan seeks to draw digital nomads, who are seen as beneficial to economy, society. Italy's hard-right government set to send sea migrants to Albania in bid to curb arrivals. Chinese cyber agency rejects U.S. hacking claims in new report. U.S. weighs capping exports of AI chips from Nvidia and AMD to some countries. Chinese researchers break RSA encryption with a quantum computer.
Trump scraps town hall Q&A, plays music videos for crowd instead. Harris could join Joe Rogan podcast in hunt for male votes, sources say. Kamala Harris will sit down with Bret Baier for her first Fox News interview. FEMA temporarily pauses aid in parts of North Carolina over reported threats.
BBC boss says word talent banned as workplace culture review begins. And BBC boss says, Russia and China taking advantage of world service cuts. Venezuela cancels passports of dozens of activists and journalists.
Trump pledges raises and 10,000 more agents in border plan. Man with guns arrested near Trump rally in Coachella. Riverside sheriff says they stopped assassination attempt. Armed man. Vem Miller arrested outside Trump's Coachella rally, as local sheriff insists it was third assassination attempt, despite letting perp walk on meager $5,000 bail. Trump says national abortion ban is off the table, but we'll see what happens.
Musk says he is all in on Trump in U.S. election. Trump plans to appoint Musk as Secretary of Cost-Cutting. California officials reject more SpaceX rocket launches, with some citing Musk's ex-posts. Elon Musk says he will take legal action after California officials cited his politics when rejecting SpaceX launches. Obama tells black men it's not acceptable to sit out election.
Foreign porn websites blocked in France for lack of age control checks. Trump says Apple CEO Cook called him with concerns about EU penalties. Donald Trump says Tim Cook is a better Apple CEO than Steve Jobs. EU may consider revenue from other Elon Musk businesses if it finds X, report says.
Eric Adams' legal hopes in corruption case could depend on Trump victory, claimed by sources. In the U.S., 4.8 M borrowers, including 1M in public service, have had student debt forgiven, Biden administration says. L.A. Catholic Church payouts for clergy abuse top $1.5 billion with new record settlement. As one day ago, Archdiocese of Los Angeles agrees to pay $880 million settlement to clergy sex abuse victims.
J.D. Vance says Donald Trump did not lose the 2020 election. Donald Trump bears responsibility for January 6th attack. Jack Smith argues in new filing. Trump, running for president at 78, says only stupid people put old people in top federal roles. FBI quietly revised 2022 crime data to show violent offenses rose rather than dropped. In the U.S., former GOP Representative Liz Cheney endorses Democrat Susan Wild. Trump once again tries to silence Stormy Daniels before election, claimed in a report. Italy passes anti-surrogacy law that effectively bars gay couples from becoming parents.
Elon Musk's $75 million gift cements role as a top Trump donor. Bloomberg reports that EU readies measures against possible Trump tariffs. Journalist says FBI visited after he published hacked Vance document.
Dutch government unveils measure that curbs exports of quantum technology. Chinese drone maker DJI sues U.S. Defense Department over military ties blacklisting. 1 month ago it has been announced as U.S. legislation barring DJI drones undermines American interests by the company. 2 years ago, U.S. puts Chinese drone giant DJI on military ties blacklist. 7 months ago, DJI details efforts to avert the potential $116 billion economic impact of U.S. blacklisting its drones. 8 years ago, USA's ICE had published an intelligence bulletin saying, DJI likely providing U.S. critical infrastructure and law enforcement data to Chinese government.
Trump says people from Fox helped him write Al Smith dinner speech. The network denies it. Trump says Fox shouldn't air negative ads. Pew Research announces that in the U.S., Republicans and young adults now nearly as likely to trust info from social media as from national news outlets.
UK Labour Party accused of foreign interference over campaigning on behalf of Kamala Harris, As Labor activists campaigning for Kamala Harris in U.S. likely to break electoral law. Tim Walz defends queer and trans youth at length in interview with Glennon Doyle. NY Magazine comments as, Trump too exhausted to do interviews with unfriendly outlets. NYT comments as, Trump thinks the border got him elected in 2016. He's convinced it will do so again. In the U.S., Google to block election ads after polls close on Election Day. Amazon will stream election night coverage hosted by Brian Williams. Independent review